Hey guys, what is up and welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Life. My name is Jordan and today we're going to be talking about my December TBR. You guys, I cannot believe we are officially in December. It is crazy that like 11 months just went by like that. But I guess I can believe it because this whole year, well, the last couple years have been crazy with COVID and everything. But yeah, it's been a crazy time. And when it comes to my reading, I haven't done much. It's very sad. I've read 23 books this year so far. I finished one about a couple of hours ago. It's the 5th book in the Dresden Files. I'll talk about that in my wrap up. But yeah, I've only read 23 books this year. And so it's been a slow going month or year for me. And it all started with Ruin of Kings. Like, I finished one book in January and I started Ruin of Kings in the middle of January. I read over 225 pages of that book. And I just was done. I DNF'd that book so quick after I got to the 200 and maybe 225, 250 page mark that I couldn't do it anymore. And then that set off a whole chain of like me not wanting to read books as much as I would want to. My goal for the year was 40 books. I could possibly still hit that. I mean, I could read 16 books in a month. Probably not going to happen. But I can try. And this Reindeer Games Readathon that we're doing at the Shelf Space Discord will help me do that. Speaking of the Reindeer Games, this is the second year that it's happening on the Shelf Space Discord. And last year there were so many participants, especially latecomers into the readathon. There were so many participants in last year's readathon that they decided to make this year's readathon a little bit more simple. And when I say that, I'm saying like they just decided to create this huge bingo board type thing, bingo card type thing, where you have, obviously, like in bingo, you have 5 slots in each row, and you can go up and down, or sideways, or diagonal, but like you have to pick at least 5 prompts to get a bingo. So like 5 prompts for 5 books to get a bingo. And I gotta say, I really like my choices because it's a mix of, I think it's a mix of fantasy and contemporary and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. Plus, there are other books that I'm carrying over from the month of November that I didn't exactly finish, and I can't wait to get to those either. Without further ado, you guys, let's get into the TBR. I'm going to show you guys the bingo card, so put up a picture of that. There are 25 slots on the bingo card, so like obviously 25 days till Christmas, literally. I think that's why they did it. And clever. Yeah, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to just share with you the 5. I just went kind of straight across. So I'm just going to share with you those 5 that I am doing for the readathon. And I might tack on more depending on how fast I read these books. I plan on getting through them like crazy because I just have a lot of making up to do when it comes to reading. And there's a lot of books that are not going to be seen in this video that I will hopefully tackle in the month of December, so wait and see. The first prompt from going left to right was read a book with white on the cover. And for that, I chose Holding Up the Universe. Now, I saw this the other day at Target, and I don't know, it just, intrigued me. This is a contemporary, and let me read you the back of it. It says, Libby is the girl whose name everyone knows, but no one really sees her, except Jack. Jack is the guy who's friends with everyone, but he doesn't let anyone in, except Libby. The two make an unlikely pair, and yet, they just might be able to change each other's worlds. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a romance of some kind, or just like a book where two genuine people meet each other and I don't know, they just become good friends. Either way, I'm okay with it. I like the cover a lot. My favorite color is blue, so the blue with the white is very nice. And if I like this book, I'm going to check out the author's previous book, All the Bright Places. I've seen that in stores, so I'm going to possibly check that out. Alright, the next one was Read a Classic. I chose Emma by Jane Austen. I really like this cover. That's why I chose this book. I also found this at a Goodwill. So yeah, that's why you see the sticker still there. I've had this for over a year. I just haven't read it yet. And I've seen the movie Emma though, and I absolutely loved the movie, and I love the actress who starred in the film. But yeah, so this is Emma. This is my classic I'm going to be reading for the month of December. For the prompt, read a classic for the Reindeer Games Readathon. Next one was read a book that's set in a forest. And for this one, I finally decided that I'm going to read The Lord of the Rings, and obviously Fellowship of the Ring is what I'm going to read because I haven't read it yet. And I have this beautiful volume edition where the whole trilogy is in it. And if I like the first book, I might just go ahead and start the second book. But yeah, who knows? I didn't like The Hobbit. If you've seen my video where I talk about, I read The Hobbit for the last Reindeer Games Readathon, and boy, oh boy, I gave it a 3-star. I gave it a 3-star rating, but I still didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. Okay, here's the thing. I enjoyed it to a point, but it still wasn't my thing. But yeah, I've heard Lord of the Rings is way better. I mean, the movie is great, so I'm hoping the book is even better. Next one is read a book with monarchy or royalty. And I chose City of Bastards. City of Bastards is the sequel to Royal Bastards, which, by the way, I have a book review for Royal Bastards that I did last year. I can link that in the description if you want to give that a look. But City of Bastards is basically the continuation of the Royal Bastards trilogy. And in this series, Our main character, Tilla, is the bastard child of I think it's Rupert, who is the Lord of the Western Province. And he used to have such love for his daughter. But after he had legitimate children, he kind of cast her to the side. And she is friends with a bunch of other bastard children. And all of them witnessed their parents doing something in the first book that they should not be doing. And because they witnessed it, their parents look up to see them, and so they have to go on the run. And this book is a continuation of that. They're still on the run. They found sanctuary in one of the other main characters' homelands. That's all I'm going to say about that. So this book is a continuation of that. And there's a lot of betrayal in this series. There's a romance or two. And from what I read in the first book, it's very funny as well. And there's magic, of course. So, yeah, this is a great book series. I'm finally getting to book 2. By the way, isn't it so pretty? I love the color. Ugh. And the final book that I am choosing for the bingo, so that I can get a bingo, is read an audiobook. And for that, I'm going to be choosing Jade War. I'm going to put a picture of it up on the screen in case you guys can't, so that you guys can see it. Jade War. I am super excited for this book. I read Jade City back in, what was it? It was I read Jade City in October. Yeah, I read Jade City in October. Or, well, I finished it in October. I actually started Jade City back in June? Yeah. But I don't know. I stopped reading it after a while, and then my friend Kisti from KistiReads decided to talk about it in her video like a couple months ago or so, maybe less than, no, it was a couple months ago. And that inspired me to pick the book back up and finish it. And boy, oh boy, I'm glad I did. Because Jade City was crazy. And I cannot wait to get into Jade War. And then Jade Legacy is coming out, if it's not already out. But I can't wait to read it. And I'm going to get the physical copies of each of these books because I love the Greenbone Saga so much. If you didn't know what the Greenbone Saga is about, it's about a family who is in the midst of a mob war, but they all have the ability to possess this, to be able to wear this thing called jade, which is a magical stone which enhances abilities. And a lot goes down in this book. I can't say too much because I don't want to spoil it for the rest of you guys. But I absolutely loved that book, Jade City, and Jade War I think is going to be even better, I hope. Anyway, other books that I am planning on getting up to are They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I know I have a book by Adam Silvera coming to me sometime this month called Here's to Us, which is the sequel to What If It's Us, which is up there on my shelf. And I think I might reread What If It's Us just to refresh my memory so I can read it in time for Here's to Us. And What If It's Us, by the way, is a LGBTQ plus story, which is written by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. So, yeah, but this one's different. This one is just written by Adam Silvera, and this one is about a radio, I think they're a radio station called, or just people that work at this thing called Deathcast. And they basically call you and tell you that you're going to die. And so because of that, our main characters basically decide to live their life like they've never lived it before. So that's basically the essential thing about they both die at the end. I'm looking forward to finishing this book. The next book I'm carrying over from the previous month, November, is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahirin. This is essentially about a witch and a witch hunter who fall in love, and obviously that causes chaos, and they have to go on the run and stuff like that. I'm only like 60 pages in, so I definitely need to get caught up. Ooh. Okay, so this one, Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I almost said James Dashner for some reason. Maybe it's because I finished the Mortality Doctrine series, and I absolutely loved that series. But this one is called Eye of the World, Book 1 in the Wheel of Time series. I'm sure you've heard of the Wheel of Time. It's a TV show now. So if you haven't heard about it, then yeah, you should get into it. I'm 9 chapters in, and I hope to finish this book this month so that I can get into The Great Hunt, which is book 2. The next book I want to talk about is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is a carryover for the next one because I didn't quite get to it. But this is essentially about... The first book is about a girl named Pippa Fitzamobi who investigates a murder that happened in her town to one of the former fellow high school students at her high school. And she does it as like a homework project. And she finds out a lot about her town and the people that inhabit it. She finds out a lot about them, more than she bargained for. And when she goes on her quest to basically clear the accused person's name, she ends up in a lot of danger. I'll just say that. And this is the second book, so like I said, I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. So this next section is going to be 5 books that I hope to get to this month, but I doubt that I'm going to get to all of them. Okay, did I mention that I am a huge Cassandra Clare fan? Yes, I did. I know I did. I've mentioned her name a bajillion times. I'm sure you all are tired of it. But I love her writing. And she's my favorite young adult fantasy author. So, yeah, I have to read her books every year. Especially if she's coming out with something new, which she did this year, and I just haven't gotten to that book. But I am going to do a reread of the prequel series that takes place before the series that I need to catch up on. And that series, my friends, is The Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare, which consists of Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, isn't that a lovely cover, and Clockwork Princess. This is my favorite trilogy of all time. I love this series. I've read it twice. And I'm going to read it for a third time because I want to. Also because it's the lead-in to another trilogy that she's been writing, which I will show you that in a second here. And this is the sequel series to it, the Last Hours trilogy. And I only have the first two because the third book is not out yet. Third book is going to be out in March. So coming up pretty quickly here, this is the first book called Chain of Gold. I read this when it came out, obviously. I loved it. I loved it so much. And then this is the book Cassandra released this year. Have not read it yet. I am so ashamed of myself. So, yeah. For those of you who have read it, don't say anything to me about it, okay? Because I might do a reading vlog for this. Because I love Cassandra Clare. And I love her books. These essentially. And then the final books that I see myself reading for the month of December, there are none other than Blood Rights, and Deadbeats, which is the 6th and the 7th book in the Dresden Files. I have had so much fun, you guys, reading the Dresden Files this last year. I read the first one in July of 2020, and like I said, I loved it. And then I read the second and third book in November of 2020, and the second one was just okay, and I absolutely love the third one. And then I finished the fourth one, actually, at the beginning of the month. And I just finished the fifth one tonight. So I'm super excited to be reading more into the Dresden Files. I love the character, Harry Dresden. Sure, he might be a little sexist and chauvinistic, whatever, but that's part of his character. So, especially as the series goes along. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be reading for the month of December. If anything changes, I will let you know. And I might actually, like I said, add more books for the bingo card just in case I finish all those books. Anyway, you guys, I shall see you later. Bye.